I saw an interview with Jamie Foxx. This was years ago. I believe it was right after he won his Oscar. And he was talking about his family and where he grew up in Texas and how he used to play football, as well as I believe it was his grandmother who had him start taking piano lessons. And if I remember correctly, he wasn't too fond of taking the lessons at that particular time. You know, he didn't want to really be playing the piano and taking lessons and yada, yada, yada. So fast forward, he becomes this famous comedian. He has his own TV show. You know, he's doing very well. And he is offered the role to play Ray Charles in the movie Ray. And this is the role that really brought everything together, because not only was he a comedian, or is he a comedian, but he's very good at impersonations. So he was not only able to tap into his tics and quirks and even sound like him, but also he was able to sing like him, as well as play the piano just like Ray Charles. They didn't have to do any cutaways or finger doubles because he was actually able to play the keys himself. And I don't believe that all of this was lost on him. I think he did express this during the interview, how everything came together for this big time role in this big time movie that not only garnered him accolades for his portrayal of Ray Charles, but it also ultimately gained him an Oscar. Woo! And that just makes you think, like, what if he didn't take the piano lessons? You know what I mean? I mean, he may have still gotten the role, you know, he may have still gotten the part, but because of the piano lessons, he was the total package. You know what I mean? If there were any competition as far as auditioning for this particular role, him having that feather in his cap, that extra talent that maybe no one else had, that made him more suitable for the role. This role was definitely meant for him to play. But it does make you think, what if? And we all have those things that we go through life, and there's little seeds that are planted, little things that happen that we figure may be insignificant, but don't really show its value until later on. And a lot of us were waiting, we're praying for situations to happen and things to really come to fruition. But part of the reward of getting to your destination is actually what you learn along the way during the journey. And for a lot of us, that's lost on us, because all we see are the cobblestones. All we see are the broken pavement. All we see are the trials and the tribulations of getting to our goals. But we don't really recognize the journey and how the journey will prepare you for getting your goal. The lessons are in the steps that you are making and what you are picking up along the way. There are very few overnight successes, and we've heard many a story where a person has started a company and that failed, and it wasn't until maybe 5 failures later that they finally found their success, because each and every time they were able to pivot and recalculate and recalibrate in order to learn from the mistakes, pick up those pieces of wisdom so that they can carry it over to and turn it into a success that they are now experiencing. Some of us have a very fatalistic approach, fatalistic interpretation as far as when things do happen to us and we don't get that success that we're looking for, those wins, you know, we take the L's as if that is the end all be all. But again, it's the hardships that you go through that will prepare you for the windfall that is to come. That's if you put in the work and you have to persevere. And just when you think that God has forgotten his promises to you, that's when he shows up. That's when things start bubbling over. That's when the numbers start going up, whether in your bank account. That's when you meet the right person. Just when you think all the doors of opportunity have closed, whether it's marriage, whether it's a job, whatever the circumstance is, every time you think that that door is closed, just when you think the locks have been bolted on that door, another door opens. God is on his own timing, and we have to trust the process. You know, be obedient, trust the process, and trust God's timing for your life. But in the interim, there are things to learn and things to take away from things that happen and don't happen during our journey. You know, these journeys are not meant to be easy, because at that point, what would you learn? What would you learn if everything were handed to you? If everything were given to you as soon as you asked for it? And how would you grow? And what kind of person would you be at the end of the day? With regard to work, what kind of work ethic would you have if you didn't have to work hard for what you want? And then it's all about perspective too. We have to manage our perspectives on things, because just because things happen doesn't mean that that is the end of the road. Again, you're still on this journey to whatever your goal is. Like I said in another video, God may be protecting you from some things, you know what I mean? Because things have not happened right away, it may be because of protection. He's protecting you from exposing you to certain things, certain people, certain situations. And he knows your maturity as well. Maybe you're not ready for the windfall right now. You got some more learning to do. You got some more lessons that you need to learn in order to appreciate and really maintain what he has for you. I told you guys about my goal, or one of my goals, as far as I want to get a house, you know, and it hasn't happened yet. But along the way, I am learning certain things about the process. I'm learning what to do and what not to do, and who to hire to do what and when. So I'm taking this journey, I'm taking this process as a learning process, and I am taking these lessons so that when I finally get to the point of finding the right house and going through the process again, I'm able to recognize and discern and make the right decisions in order to fulfill this particular goal. I'm able to use these lessons to my benefit. And some of us are quick learners, and some of us, we need remedial school. You know, we need to repeat a couple of grades because we're a little hard-headed. We're kind of reluctant to learn. I'll say it like that. But me, I want to recognize the lesson so that I can go on to the next step. I want to graduate to the next grade and learn some new things so that I can graduate and attain my goal of whatever that goal is. So I just wanted to come in here really quickly and just remind you guys to recognize the lessons that you are learning along the way as far as your journey to your goal or goals. Know that during this journey, there are things that you need to see, that you need to experience to better arm yourself and ready yourself for the windfall that is about to come. Honey, when you look back on your life and you look at all the things that you have been through and all the things that God has shown you and all the lessons that you have learned, you're going to look back and say, oh, that's what that was meant for? That's what you meant to show me, Lord? Thank you, Lord, that I went through all that, because I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone through all that prior to. But we all have a piano lesson. That seed that has been planted, that when first received, you may not have recognized how it was going to play a part in your success. You know, those lessons that may not show its value or their value until later, but learn the lesson and trust in God's process for your life. Because what you're going through will help you get you to your end goal. Trust the process. And with that, we are going to put a button on it.